Hey everybody, we are Echoed Influence. I'm Anthony Spartacus Tamayo. I'm here as always with the modest better herself, April Rodriguez.
Hey everybody.
And today's episode is called Heroes of Old. Now this episode is rather important to me because this is what started the whole comic book adventure that I've been on. You know, my dad, he showed me a lot of old school mythological creatures, heroes, villains, all the, you know.
What were some of his favorites?
He loved Jason and the Argonauts. Like, I remember he was like, as much as he loved watching King Kong and Wizard of Oz, Jason and the Argonauts was one of the first ones we watched together. And, you know, I think that was like 63, one of those nights. It was an old movie, and you appreciate animation and the first versions of CGI were in that. And you really appreciate, like, Hercules was in it, and he was outsmarted by another guy, you know, and it just, you know, there's a lot of cool mythology in that. And he showed me Hercules and Perseus and Clash of the Titans and stuff like that. So
What made those so special to you?
It was a lot of like guys, like normal guys, taking down titans and big creatures that you would always look at the creature and then look at the guy and you'd immediately underestimate the guy, you know? So, I mean, I've always liked things like that. And so I feel like throughout history, you know, I'm just going to try and relate some of those characters. So Hercules, he was born of Zeus and of Hera, and they lost him. You know, the witches from Hades, they tried to turn him human, and in the process they didn't complete it, and he still had God's strength, you know, so he became a demigod. He eventually got married and he had kids and stuff like that, and then Hera tapped into his mind and gave him temporary madness, made him kill his wife and kids, which caused him to go through the 12 labors. And they were all things of him like killing a lion that has impenetrable skin. And, you know, it was, you know, the idea of Hercules coming from somewhere else, you know, being raised amongst like humans and mortals, you know what I mean? Sounds rather familiar to me, you know. So, you know, you think Superman came from another world and was raised amongst mortals as a mortal, and then he evolves into someone who takes on the responsibility of saving people. And you know, there's all kinds of examples of these guys that, like, you know, Beowulf is like Scandinavian Hercules, you know what I mean? He has his adventures, he has his obstacles that he overcame, and his feats were very cool. Like, he killed sea monsters and Grendel and a dragon, and it was just, he has an epic story as well. And I'd like to come to my final dude as Samson. Samson in the Bible, his power came from his hair, you know, and you read, I was reading some behind the grittier scenes of the Bible and stuff like that, where Samson, he had like a particular taste for prostitutes, you know. I don't think it was prostitutes per se, but the women, where he had a soft spot for women, and prostitutes were always in trouble.
I see, there's someone who's always in need.
Mm-hmm. So, you know, he had purpose amongst them, you know. There's this Hindu god that I looked up. His name is Karna. He's like Hindu version of Ares. And to me, he reminds me a lot of Ghost Rider. You know, he's summoned and he has flames, and he's there for punishment. You know, not unlike, you know, the Punisher, you know, is there, but he's there to like discipline and keep people in, like, he's the fear. You know, it's almost like he's also their devil. Almost like that, you know. And I love everybody else's mythology, because when I grew up, Bible mythology, it was like heaven, hell, you know, good and bad. And you look into Greek mythology, Hindu mythology, and Chinese and Japanese mythology, it's like there's variations of evil. Like, if you're good, spirits treat you good. If you're bad, spirits turn bad and fuck you up, you know. And like, same thing with gods. If you're cool with gods, you know, they're cool with you. But gods can be incredibly evil. And just like all of a sudden start fucking shit up, you know? They don't rarely blame Hades for all that. Bringing up all these heroes of old and how they associate with the modern takes and everything. I have another one in here, Achilles and Captain America. I feel like that was along the same lines. They're like not exactly demigods, but they're incredible. Like, they're just the best at what they do. You think Achilles, when they describe him, like, he can cut 10 men in one swipe. You know, he can jump 7 feet, and he can he could do all these crazy, awesome feats, and you think, hey man, Captain America could do that. He can't exactly fly. Achilles apparently can't exactly do what Hercules can do, but Achilles was a real dude, you know. And his legend goes, and it sounds a lot like Captain America: blonde hair, perfect body, perfect skill. You know, before I get into anything else, I wanted to say that I believe back then when men would see other men doing incredible things, like if there's one dude looking at Achilles doing awesome shit, he always had to put like some kind of perspective or kind of context as to why he's so great. Now nowadays it's pretty simple. Like people go, he does steroids, you know, and it's very easy to say. But back then you couldn't really say it. There was no steroids back then. The only thing that people were saying was like the only reason why Achilles is so fucking good is because he's part God, bro. He's part God. That's the only reason why he's that good. It's not because he's so skilled and he practiced every fucking day, you know. That's probably what actually happened, was that he was actually skilled. But no one wanted to give him the actual credit, so they said he was a god and embedded him into their mythology, you know, which is equally cool, you know. So you're so badass that you were embedded into your religion, you know. That's pretty cool. And I like to quickly talk about Perseus. Now, Perseus was another Greek. I remember my dad showing me Clash of the Titans, and I saw both old version and new version of Clash of the Titans, and I liked them both. I like the story because Perseus is a guy who is a demigod, doesn't like the idea that he's a demigod, wants no help, but he still gets it, but he wants to do and accomplish things as a man, which he, at some point, he ends up doing. He defies what gods want and does what's best for him. And that evolves into a guy like Kratos, who's defiant on every single level. Like, you can't kill this guy. He changes the history of what the gods and what the fates want. He doesn't care. He doesn't care their agenda. He wants what's best for him. Moving on, I quickly wanted to talk about comparing legendary video games to these current ones. Now, I recently got Red Dead Redemption 2. Storyline wise, very good game, very good. I mean, I love the action. I love that you have, like I said, you have to do so many things. My problem with it was that the online gameplay is buying your skill, like everything else is doing nowadays. Like every single video game that comes out that's multiplayer, it's all buy your skill. Now, let me tell you what I mean by that. I'm gonna give you an example. I was playing Red Dead and I was enjoying it, so I thought I'd play online. A lot of times when I play online, like in Battlefield, I relied a lot on my skill. I didn't have the best guns or whatever when you first start. No one does. But I got by on my skill, and that's what makes you enjoy the game. In Red Dead Redemption, I relied on my skill just as much. I like to creep up on people when they're trying to search for me. You know, I'll flank. The map is so huge. So I try to flank my guys, and I remember a couple times going behind an opposing player, and in Red Dead you can do Deadeye mode where you're targeting every single part. I went at least 4 streaks up his back, blasted him. The guy kind of just first he turned around the wrong way. And then he turned completely back the other way as I'm trying to shoot him still, and he blasted me dead. You know, and I was just like, oh, wow, I blasted this dude 4 times in the back, and all he did was turn around and shoot me. You know, and it meant nothing. Like, it meant nothing that I shot this guy. And I was like, what the hell? So you got to be kind of curious as to how this sort of thing happens and everything. And apparently, the guy bought a very nice jacket. And the jacket somehow protected my bullets. And I didn't get that. I didn't understand that. See, my skill didn't really matter at that point. So I tried doing some headshots and stuff. I remember showing you, April, I headshotted some dude. And in Red Dead, it zooms in on the guy who shot you. Mm-hmm. I shot this dude in the fucking head, and he got up and shot me dead. Mm-hmm. Now, they zoomed in on the guy who shot me, and you can see the bullet hole in his eye. Like, he's got shot in the face. And I was like, oh, wait, this is crap. Like, this is why I don't like that shit. He probably got some kind of upgraded crap where it didn't really, headshots don't matter. I don't know. But that's something that they would have to fix for me to be convinced that that's a decent game. But everything is like that now. Injustice 2, I can't believe it that they just armor up your dude, and now Green Lantern has trouble with fucking guys who have no superpowers, and that doesn't make sense to me. Mm-hmm. But it's just for the guy who has no skill. Now these old games, the old, Mortal Kombat, the old Street Fighter, They didn't have that. You couldn't buy your skill. You had it or you didn't. You know, you either met them on the jab or you beat them on it. You know, or vice versa. And it was a definitive loss and everything. I don't know. I understand that the video game companies, they want to make their money, and this is the greatest way to do it. But I mean, I'm not convinced. I'm not convinced that this is a great online game, and I'm not going to be convinced that any online game is going to be great as long as you can buy your skill. I like games where it's just you versus the person and it's based on skill, because that's the outlet that I need. But yeah, that's all I have to say about the video game aspect of it. You know, I want more of the old school feel. It doesn't have to have old school graphics. I just want more of the attention to skill, attention to the detail in the skill, not attention to the detail on how you can make more money. You know, fuck the graphics. Fuck the graphics. I want a good game. Obviously, not one is better than the other. You know, not the old heroes or the new ones or the old gods and new gods. And not is one better than the other. The combination of using both ancient tales with a modern take into the modern society is what I think people ultimately want. Because it's what we're at in society structure right now. But what I'm saying is that people do appreciate, and we spoke about this in the last episode, people do appreciate the simpler things, the slower times. You know, they appreciate Red Dead Redemption because, you know, you're a cowboy and you don't have a fucking cell phone and emails and shit to worry about. They appreciate guys like Perseus and Theseus because their objective is on another level, you know, and you got to have that in the combination of what's happening today, and that's how you get characters like Daredevil and Captain America and Spider-Man and Batman and Superman, and you're gonna get the best results by abstracting from both worlds. So for me personally, I like how some stories are inclined with historical events. Like why Hercules was so strong is the same reason why Superman was so strong. You know what I mean? I would love to like a quick story like that. You know, the Hercules was real and he was Kryptonian. You know, and it was a timeline fluctuation. Like Superman landed at that time as well, and then landed again because of the, you know, I could come up with a story all day, but that's what I love about what they do in the comic books nowadays. You know, and that's what I love about Cosmic Rider. You know, I'm gonna keep pushing that guy down people's throats until people start buying more of his shit. Which it's inevitable, because last time I went to go try and buy one of Cosmic Rider's things, remember they were sold out.
Mm-hmm, yeah.
And then we went to another place and they had one left. So, other than that, moving on to the fantastical fan favorite Rumble. Okay, today we have 2 Interrealm Rumbles, so we're going to try and go through this as smoothly and as quickly as possible. So on one side, we have Greece's Hercules. Now this is the guy, like I said, went through his 12 labors. When he has a problem with mind control, from what I understand. Kind of like Superman, you know, so magic is his one weakness. You know, but he went through the 12 labors, and the 12 labors say a lot of things. The fact that he killed that lion, he resorted to killing it with his bare hands, great wrestling skills. He traveled to the underworld. He's beaten that 3-headed dog.
What do you think his greatest strength is?
Is obviously his actual strength, like his ability to, you know, every single one of these characters, though, like I said, they have to have a standard of heart, and all of them do have it. So the one thing that they all have in common is strength. Mm-hmm. Definitely. It's like, what's the one thing that differs from them, you know?
I see. So what do you think it's the one thing that differs?
Well, so the other guy, it's Samson from the Bible. And he was a Hebrew, the last judge of the Israelites and stuff like that. Like, he had a big position to fill, but his thing was more about using his strength to help people. And his hair is what held that strength. Why his hair? I don't know, but that's a pretty cool little backstory. There was a woman named Delilah who was a woman of the night, and there was also other women of the night that he would visit and help and stuff like that. Anyways, Delilah was sent by the Philistines to figure out what his weakness was, and after many attempts, she figured out what it was, cut his hair, and pretty much captured Samson because he had no strength. And what had happened was that Samson was in the temple of the Philistines. He asked one of the Philistine soldiers, "Hey, can I rest?" So he rested up against one of the pillars and he starts praying. Now, this temple is able to hold over 1,000 people, whatever, you know. And what he did was that he tore the whole temple down. As he was praying, God had given him the strength that he needed to tear the whole temple down, which he did. He killed everybody, including himself, Delilah, everybody he loved went down. So that was his greatest feat. He also killed like 1,000 Philistine soldiers with the jawbone of an ass, which is pretty cool, the blunt objects and everything.
When his hair grows back, does he get his strength back?
Yeah.
I see.
Yeah. So, so the thing about Samson is that he seems to have a lot of weaknesses. As to Hercules, he's always strong.
Yeah. Where it's not going to be taken away just by the clipping of a hair.
Exactly. And, I feel like Samson is most threatening when he has a weapon. And Hercules is just always threatening. He's always I feel like if Samson tried to get him with that jawbone of the ass and Hercules just had his hands, being that he's a Greek and he's practiced wrestling, I'm gonna go with Hercules because of his wrestling background purely. Samson, I've never seen any training from him other than that he's a farmer and a herder and stuff like that, and he's like Superman. He reacts when he has to, and Hercules I believe he's actually had some kind of training, but both of them were doused in hero objectives. They had most of their skill and everything came from exhibiting dire need situations. With that said, though, what do you see? How do you see it playing out between the two?
For me, the thing that keeps coming to mind is that Hercules could easily cut Samson's hair and defeat him that way. Mm-hmm. But I mean, I don't know how easy it would be to get to Samson to cut his hair,
That's true, I didn't think about like him going after his hair particularly.
Especially if he knows that's where his strength is.
Mm-hmm.
Wouldn't that be like, and it's me thinking the Anthony way, like
Mm-hmm.
how do I
beat him? Yeah, the perseverance. Though I think Hercules is rather strategic. He would have to hear that through the grapevine, which, Delilah is a loudmouth bitch. But let's just say he doesn't know. He has no idea, and he has to go clashing with this guy, Strength for strength, they're pretty much even. I just think that the 12 labors, including all the training that Hercules has had, on paper, it looks like Hercules would win this fight.
That's what I was thinking, too.
Though Samson is pretty cool. It's just the hair thing. The hair thing really kills me. And the fact that, he could have used training, But, hey, it is what it is. So the first Interrealm Rumble of Heroes of Old is Hercules. Now we have one more, Beowulf. Now this guy, like I said, he's gone up against monsters, dragons. He's a geek. And as a king, he needed help, but this creature would just show up and start massacring his people. And so what provoked this creature was like loud music. And he would just show up and start shredding everybody apart. So they had Beowulf come in. He got naked. He got completely naked, took off all of his armor, and he made all of his men cheer and sing to try and provoke the giant. And he shows up. He fucks up maybe a few dudes right off the bat. And Beowulf's not even deterred. He just stands up on the table, naked, dick out and everything. And his hand's like, what's up? And he puts his hands up, like, ready to fight. And Grendel looks at him. He starts laughing at him like, dude, what the fuck? Like, this, you're a first, And as soon as shit starts happening, like, Beowulf just takes it to him. And Grendel realizes this is no ordinary human. This fucker is kicking my ass. Like, he's punching me in the side of my head because his eardrums are, like, made where they're outward. So he's hitting him in the eardrum. He just basically fucks up Grendel so bad that he rips off one of his arms, and Grendel starts to shrink. And yeah, Beowulf goes through this whole thing telling him, I'm Beowulf. Like, bitch, I'm Beowulf. Like, in his old English words, he's asking him, who are you? And he goes, I am Ripper, Starer, Slasher. All these cool things that he's saying. And he's like, I am the talons of the night, Beowulf. And I was like, dude, this dude's badass. And so, like, he ended up, like, going head on with the dragon. And it was just really cool to see. I recommend you see it because I don't want to give too much of it away. But yes, he takes on this dragon and just fucks it up. Like, he reaches into its like body to get its heart, and the blood and the meat of the dragon is like that of lava. It's hot, and he's trying to reach in there and grab it and then he unhinges his arm and shoves it in there, and he can reach it. It's freaking. He's cool. And on the other side, we have another Greek named Achilles, one of the greatest warlords who ever lived. Now, the reason why I wanted to bring up Achilles was because he is the bridge between Greece's mythology and Greece's history. Like, he was a real man, but like I said, he was so badass that they embedded him in certain parts of their religion and mythology. One of the origins of Achilles was that they wanted to make him immortal by dipping him into the river Styx, and by doing so, they had to hold him from his Achilles tendon, which was his only weak spot. There's a centaur named Chiron, who's the one who reared him as a child and trained him and showed him how to fight, which is the mythological part of like, oh, that's where he learned how to, because he's learned how to fight centaurs, people who are stronger than men, more skilled. His greatest feat was probably killing Hector, the Trojan War. For Hector was probably the greatest renowned warrior of that time. And Achilles really sealed that deal by not just beating him, but decisively beating Hector. Between the two, we got a guy who just never makes mistakes versus a guy, he's a brutal savage when it comes to fighting, which is Beowulf. In your opinion, between the two, who do you have so far?
I can't help but think Achilles.
Achilles?
Yeah.
He strategically, yeah, I think he's definitely the better leader. Beowulf has an incredible strength, though. Like, he has, I think Achilles, though he never underestimates his opponents, he's going to assume that he's only so strong. And when he sees how strong Beowulf actually is, he's going to realize that he's up against an equal. The thing is that I honestly feel like they're very well rounded. I don't see Achilles definitely not outsmarting Beowulf and vice versa. I see these guys evenly matched. Now, Achilles, he is the greatest warlord who ever lived for a reason. Now, you got to give him his credit where credit is due. So, guys, help us out. We're going to put up a poll. We're going to put up this snippet. So, please let us know who you guys think won, and we'll come back to you guys on that one. So, how did you enjoy doing the Heroes of Old today?
It was a cool episode, I think.
Did you learn anything?
Oh, definitely, yeah.
Nice. Okay, well, see, I want to do another episode in about a month from now. It's going to be Heroes of Old, Legends Never Die. And it's going to be about real men in history, not mythology, but it's real men in history, like Spartacus, William Wallace, and we will bring back up Achilles for that measure. Like I said, he's the bridge between the history and the mythology. We're going to use characters like that. And I've been wanting and dying to talk about Spartacus. So be ready for that episode. Be sure it's going to be special. Now, I would like to move on to EI Recommends. Now, I highly recommend, this is my greatest recommendation to you guys, okay? You guys are going to love this show. It is the greatest show ever made. Yes, even better than Game of Thrones. It's called Spartacus. Now, we got Spartacus, Gods of the Arena, Spartacus, Blood and Sand, Spartacus, War of the Damned, Spartacus, Vengeance. So, watch it all, guys. Watch it all and just let me know what you guys think.
Can you tell me a little bit about why you like Spartacus so much? What is it about Spartacus?
Well, I'll give you a little insight as to why I admire Spartacus above all else. Is because he was a slave, and he was a slave, and you got to understand that he did his best with what he had. And what he had was no freedom and a bunch of other slaves. And he made Rome bleed, scared, and inspired barbarians beyond the gates. He inspired other people against, Rome's not that fucking tough. Slaves went up against you, and I led them. What's most admirable about Spartacus is that he convinced a bunch of slaves that they were more than what they are. Not the place that everybody told them that they had to be in. But much like now, how I believe so much that we need a Spartacus to show us that, hey, we are fucking shrouded with this overbearing, overworking, we are not free. So I feel like Spartacus lifted the shroud over many slaves' eyes and made them see and fight a noble, honorable, real cause. So above all else, he really fought for the little guy. And that's a true hero to me. And that's why I think Spartacus is the greatest. So again, I highly recommend watching the show, watching the episodes, see what I see. Especially when you look into Andy Whitfield's eyes, you'll see it, guys. So before we go, I just wanted to let you guys know that I'm still doing training at the Ludus. DM me if you have any questions about that. We do $5 a day if you need, just to get 1 or 2 days in of training to see if you even like it. The first day is free. Yeah, guys, you'll be around like-minded people. Like I said, you'll be training hard. You'll be learning something new. So far we have Monday and Thursday at 7:30 p.m. and Tuesday, Friday at 5 p.m. If you have any questions or you need a special time, let me know. I'll work with you and let's get you in that gym and let's get you working. I'm also a certified massage therapist, guys. So if you guys need any deep tissue, chair massage, hot stone therapy, if somebody's pregnant and needs a massage, I do pregnancy massages. I do sports therapy. Hit me up. I'm your guy. I can fix you as well as I break you. So yeah, that's about it. So be on the lookout for Game of Thrones night. Guys, I cannot stress this. If you are a Game of Thrones fan, you need to be here.
We're going to do a trivia and raffle off prizes before the show starts. So it's like a trivia review to help us review on
and
what
remember certain things.
Yes, yeah, and we'll give away prizes. And then at the end, we're going to do also a discussion after the episode and just talk about things we liked. But that's not even the best part, because we're going to have a feast, a Game of Thrones style feast for you with roasted chicken and cheeses and breads and meat and all kinds of great stuff.
We're also going to have themed drinks there, White Walker drinks. It's going to be awesome, guys. You guys are going to feel like you're right in Winterfell.
Yes.
So just write to us. Let us know if you have any questions about that. Buying your ticket early is the best method.
And it ensures your spot, because we do only have limited space. So if you want to make sure you're there and you're joining this awesome Game of Thrones season premiere party, make sure to send us at least a message to let us know that you're reserving, even if you can't pay right now. Just let us know.
And also, of course, we have game night on April 19th. It's coming upon us. We already have a few people in the bracket ready to rock. If you need to settle some scores with your friends and let them know who the better gamer is, this is the place to do it. If you get your pre-sale ticket, you get a free piece of pizza, a free drink, and a free snack of your choice. We will be selling the day of, but it's just a ticket. You know, you won't get any free pizza or anything, and that kind of sucks. So be sure to get your pre-sale ticket. Feel free to RSVP for that as well and reserve your spot, so at least we know you're coming. People who buy their pre-sale ticket gets priority spot in the bracket. Okay, guys? And that'll do it for us here at Echoed Influence. Thank you guys for joining us. I am Anthony Spartacus Tamayo.
And I am April Betty Rodriguez.
We'll see you guys next time. Peace.